Hello and welcome to the What's Current podcast hosted by NAPIT, where we discuss all things electrical. On the show today, we have Steve Humphreys, Technical Commercial Manager. We have myself, Andrew Duffin, Technical Commercial Engineer. And today's show, it will join by Simon Mayo from ANDYSMANCLUB. And we're going to start talking about men's mental health because it doesn't get talked about enough. And we're going to touch on to International Men's Day, which is on the 19th of November.
Yes.
So I wasn't aware of at all. And so I've done a bit of research. But as always, Simon, if you don't mind kicking off the show by just telling us a bit about your story.
So my story was 4.5 years ago. We'd just come out through COVID and I was struggling with money, like probably everybody does. We'd had in spate of about 2 months, my mum got cancer. My stepfather-in-law then had an heart attack. Sister-in-law then had a miscarriage. And then what seemed like 3 hours later, we had a miscarriage, obviously a couple of weeks later. And it absolutely ruined me. And as a typical Yorkshire bloke, or as a typical man, my answer was, it'd be right, it'd be fine, we'll sort it. And I couldn't sort it. And that was the main thing, that I couldn't control it. From a swimming metaphor, I was swimming with my clothes on, but I weren't going anywhere. My head was there and I was just literally above water. Other half were on part-time hours. We've got a little boy called Theo, who was 3 at the time. And obviously I was just trying to look after my family and just trying to provide. And every time I was leaving work, I was overdrawn. I was focused on the following couple of weeks, thinking, am I going to get through this month? Am I going to get through next month? Blah, blah, blah. Theo needed nappies. Theo needed Calpol. Just day-to-day general stuff.
And what sort of industry was you working? I
was working for Magnet Kitchens at the time.
Okay.
In the warehouse. And it was literally just an horrible time. After I'd left Magnet, I then went to Howden's. Again, that was when we started going through COVID. And after we'd had the miscarriage, I was stood on the big ladders, 16-foot ladders, and I was just crying and just uncontrollably crying. And my manager came out to something, and he went, "Help, Simon." And he looked and he went, "Simon, are you all right?" And I just went, "No." And he went, "Come down." And I thought, oh God, I'm going to get it done here. I went downstairs, went back down, and he just went, "Go home." He says, "You're in no fit state." And I went, but he says, "Go home." He says, "Come back in a couple of days." And I always carry that with me because I thought he knew what I was going through, but I didn't. And I weren't talking. I was sat at home watching TV, and I'd just get, "You all right? You all right, babe?" "Yeah." "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm just watching this." "Oh, but you're quiet." "I'm all right." And I weren't talking. And then it got to a stage where when, other half had said something, I took it to heart. And all my problems were on top of my shoulders as well as all these other problems at home and, myself. And we got in the car one day and instead of us saying, "Oh, I can't wait for this weekend, we're going to take Theo out round park or whatever," it would just, "Come on then, what's up?" And I just went, "No." And she went, "Simon, I know you, what's up?" And I just went, "No." And then I went, "Well, this and this and this and this and this." And I just got, "Oh my God, will you just talk to me?" And I just went, "Well, I'm rubbish, aren't I? I'm no good and I'm worthless and this." We carried on, went to Tesco where we live, and she went into Tesco, and I physically couldn't get out of the car. I were numb. About 10 minutes later, she got back in. We carried on arguing, and I stopped at these traffic lights, and she got out and she said, "I need some fresh air." So she shut the door. I drove up this hill, carried on driving for about 10, 15 minutes, crying, shaking, not knowing, head were all over, not knowing where to turn or what to do. And I drove down this side lane and carried on driving, and I pulled up, got out of the car, and I found train line. I stood on train line, and I just thought, this is it. I'm no good. I'm letting people down. I'm not the Simon that everybody knows. Like, I like to make people laugh. I like to make people happy. And I couldn't do that because of all the things that had gone off before. And it just, the emotions just got up better me. I stood on train line and I just got, and that were it. I'd finished. I then got a phone call from other half and said, "Where are you?" And all I could say were, "Just tell Theo I'm sorry." And I threw my phone up grass verge behind me. When I threw it in grass verge behind me, I saw Theo's car seat back at car, and I was like, I can't do this. I was born without a dad. My dad died when I was 16 months old in a car crash. So I've never seen him. I've never known him, only through memories or what my mum's told me or whatever. And I just thought, I can't do this. So I got back off, went up, picked my phone up, went up grass verge, sat him back at car and just held Theo's car seat and just cried and cried and cried and cried. 6 minutes later, train flew by. And that was my kick up bum, to basically. And it was like, I need to do something. I need to sort my life out. I need to focus on what I can focus on, control what I can control. And that day was just a blur. I went home again, bare minimum, just basic.
Did you talk to your wife at what you?
No,
no,
not at the time. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't talk. Obviously, as you can imagine, other half were crying and she were upset, and I'd not spoke to her. We'd had this massive argument, etc. And we were close to getting divorced and, splitting family up, and it just, obviously, that's not what I wanted. And then the following day, a couple of days later, I went to work again, bare minimum, getting orders. Hey mate, there you go, and that were it. Following evening, I thought I need to do it. I need to go, and I went to Rotherham, and I went to ANDYSMANCLUB, and I weren't told that there's no room. I weren't told that, have you booked? I weren't told, have you got a doctor's note? Have you been referred? It was just, hey mate, you all right? And I just went, I need help. I've just literally been stood on the train line a couple of days ago, and I've got a family, and I was just babbling, and they were like, look, come on, let's make you a brew, let's give you a biscuit, and they were just sat like we are now and just having a chat, and I went, I don't know what to expect. And they went through rules, and they went through intro, and they went through questions what we asked. And I kept going. And Tuesday after, I went home Monday night, obviously house where everybody was asleep, got in from work Tuesday evening, and other half were making tea. And she turned and she just went, you all right? And I just went, a bit. And she went, where did you go last night? I went there. And I got a business card, an AMC card on fridge. And I went there, and she just went, thank God for that.
About to say, yeah, she was happy for that.
And she says, are you going to be all right? And I went, I will. I says, I did a lot of talking yesterday. I says, we're on my first one. I says, but I just need to keep going. I says, but with for both of us, as well as for all three of us. And she went, right, okay. And then she just went, you're not going to be a dick anymore, are you? And I just went, no, I promise I won't. And she went, right, come here. So she gave me a hug, and she went, right, go and sit down, I'll sort to you out. So that was it. And, you know what I mean? I kept going. And then after so long, the guys there that recognised how I'd come around and I'd turned my life around slowly, and how I was getting guys in and going every night and every Monday night and doing events and breaking away from work and doing whatever I could. And then they recognised, so that, I became facilitator. And then as obviously group expands and the whole organisation expands, and we wanted to open more groups just to get guys in like me, just to come and talk. I then opened my own group in Rotherham. And then last year, after doing quite a lot of a bit of awareness and going out and about and controlling, doing Facebooks and, just doing videos, just whatever I could. I'd take a day off from my normal paid job and spend more time on this job that weren't paying anything, because that's how passionate I were. And then an interview got advertised, and it was just, we're advertising for a South Yorkshire area lead, groups, organisations expanding, and it's something that we need to look after. So I went for it thinking, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, then I've still got my job and I can still finish at 4 o'clock from work and then go home. Because at the time last year, I was delivering for Pentagon car parts. And I thought, I'll just do that. I got the job. I had an interview with Luke and Elaine, who obviously co-founded AMC as well. And it was just surreal. It were on obviously through Google Meet, and now I look forward to it. And like when I wake up in the morning, I'm happy.
So compared to your previous roles,
compared to where I were,
to your role now,
absolutely,
are you much more content in your day-to-day working life? Because your working life has a lot to affect on your mental health, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Because I used to drive to work at 7:15 or 7:30 to get there for 8 o'clock. And we'd have to rely on my other mother-in-law, a dad, or my mum. And it was like, I'd love to take Theo to school. I'd love to just to go and, walk down and have a laugh and a joke with him, or I'd love to pick him up. Because when he runs out and he shouts, "Daddy," that's the best feeling ever. Yeah. And I weren't getting none of that. And it was still in my head. And I just thought, well, it'll happen. Or, well, it's fine. It's day to day. I get to take him to bed, or I get to have a play about with his Lego or whatever. But now it's changed because I get to take him to school. I get to pick him up. Our mindset's changed altogether because we now go to the gym. We've been going to the gym since February, March, May this year. I've lost two and a bit stone. Other half dropped a dress size and a half. And instead of us arguing who's having beer or who's getting beer or whatever, it's like, right, I'll go to the gym. You'll go to the gym when you finish work. I'll go and pick Theo up. I'll carry on working. And that's it. And his mindset's changed.
It's that work-life balance.
Work-life balance, yeah.
And it is very important.
And we're having tea at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening instead of putting Theo to bed, having tea, going to bed on a full stomach, not going to the gym, and having a drink, and then weight ballooning, and then we feel horrible, and then it just escalates. Where I'm in a much better mindset, and I'm more happy now than where I were. And whenever I do a presentation, I'm not ashamed of where I were. I'm more proud of where I am now because if I can put my story out, I'm just a normal guy that lives in Barnsley, has got an 8-year-old going on 26. I'm sure you can all relate. And I've got a loving wife that's literally backed me 100%. And we've had his arguments. That's just day-to-day life. But
that's marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's having that, like you said, that support network, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You need a support network in this modern world, don't you? And it's ups and downs, and the children, life, work. It's all stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
I remember when we were, we eventually got in touch with Andy, didn't we? And we wanted to do an Andy's Man Club one for ages. We're passionate about it as people that have worked in the industry. But that story that you just told, I was feeling emotional as you was telling. I'm sure you still get emotional thinking back because it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. And
to be able to think, right, I'm not worth being here. You're in a low place. All that tragedy you had go on in the background.
Yeah.
I can see why. Do you know what I mean? You've had it all come just tumbling on top of you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. The pressures of work, finances is a massive one. I can appreciate that myself. Yeah. That's probably a bloke's thing. The biggest worry is how am I going to put food on the table?
Especially at the COVID time. It was a lot of uncertainty.
For everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
something you said that was key there that I really love when I hear these, almost like these, I don't want to get religious, but Damascus Road stories is like that transformation of, I'll use that story of that low and that horrible point and when I nearly end it all to show you who I am now.
Yeah.
And that's really important for people to hear. As hard as it is for people to hear, I think those stories are important for people to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they'll see a lot of themselves in you, especially for people you've helped now, you're part of it.
Yeah.
They'll see that and go, wow, that's where I am now. And you say, well, look where I am now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm healthier. Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah,
you've got the complete
absolutely.
package. You know, like you say, we always. It's not a complete happy marriage, is it? All the time, and kids and the pressure of life. We're not making out suddenly there's a magic one that's cured everything, but you're in such a healthier place now.
Yeah,
and you can recognise those.
I can recognise it.
Yeah. How did you mentioned earlier when you obviously got the job as the leader. Tell us a little bit about the roots of Andy's Man Club. Where did that actually start?
So Andy's Man Club was formed 9 years ago through a guy called Andy Roberts, just a normal guy. He'd had an enormous falling out with his partner, and he just didn't talk. He just didn't, go and see somebody or talk to his mum or talk to his brother-in-law or whoever. He got in a massive hole. He couldn't get himself out with it and went and took his own life. And
what age was he? Sorry, when he done that?
He was 23 years old.
He's only a young man at the time, isn't he? Yeah.
23, 26 year old, and it's horrible to see, and you know what I mean. And his brother-in-law, Luke Campbell, who's founder of Andy's Man Club, wanted to do something, and he met all his family at a family wedding. Approached his mother-in-law, Elaine, and said, I want to do something because to stop other families going through what we've gone through and experiencing that. He said, it shouldn't be like that. He said, we want to break the stigma. We want guys to take the mask off. Elaine came up with Andy Roberts. Luke came up with Man Club, and then said, it's too long-winded that. So, look, let's shorten it down. Let's create Andy's Man Club. So it's still keeping Andy Roberts' name alive, and that's what it's all about, keeping his name alive. At the minute, we're at 315 groups. Wow. We open every Monday evening, excluding bank holidays. We're open 7 while 9. We ask 5 questions. First 3 are set every week. Question 4 and 5 are sent from us at head office that change every week. And it's just, we ask those questions because guys, they don't know what to expect. And we go through an intro and we tell them, these 5 questions, blah, blah, blah. So when you're coming through the door for the first time, you're absolutely lower than a snake's belly. And, you don't want to look at anybody. You don't want to give them eye in case something gets said or somebody smiles or you end up crying or whatever, which is totally fine because we have laughter and we have tears. It's just a normal group on a Monday night. But first question is, how's your week been? Quite easy. Question 2 is then, what's a positive from your week? Positive might be something, little lads won a football tournament, or he's smashing school, or little daughter's won a dancing competition, or she's going out and about and doing this and being a little girl. Question 3 then is what we all go for, and that's the anything to get off your chest. So that might be from a parking ticket that you're struggling with money and you've parked in this parking bay and you've got a ticket. Now you've got to pay 60, 70 pounds, whatever they are. And it's pissed you off because it's 70 quid that you haven't got, that you shouldn't have done it. And, somebody will say, well, you'll know not to park there, and, you'll get like words of wisdom or words of advice. And, you know what I mean? You can't change it, but it's in past. Just move forward. Just look forward. And then question 4 and 5 are quite light-hearted. So question 4 might be something like, who helped you through a storm when you were at your lowest? Might be your mum, your uncle, your auntie, your best mate who sat at side you, your son, your dogs, because even they know. And then question 5 is quite light-hearted. Question 5 might be something like, what's your favourite biscuit for dunking?
We've had that one. Yeah.
We did that all the time.
Found a packet of crisps.
Hobnob.
Hobnob, absolutely.
It's the king of biscuits.
King of biscuits, yeah. It's like Peter Casey, isn't it? Dunk me again.
Go on.
Again. And again, yeah. How would you eat a Kit Kat Chunky? How would you eat,
Twix? Twix off
how would you eat a Twix?
End.
Bite it all and take caramel off, You know what I mean? And
just light
you know, you say something, you're smiling, I'll say something, somebody else is smiling, and then it creates little pockets of conversations then.
I like that.
So one guy might be, you know, he might have no job, he might have, you know, he might be in his own head every other day. One guy might say, we're going round Lake or we're going round Park on Tuesday. Come and join us.
So you get little communities.
Little communities.
Yeah.
So like little conversations. So if they want to go out and meet for a coffee or, you know, go playing bowling or go snooker or whatever, it gets those guys then out of their head and out of the bubble from being at home, from watching, you know, morning TV, to actually saying, I can't wait, I'm going to go and meet so-and-so down the park.
Especially if they haven't got that network that we talked about.
That network, yeah.
They're struggling on their own and they haven't got a partner or friends or family, then this is a great way to socialise, isn't it? And that's really important.
Your partner's the hardest one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's some people probably listening or watching that haven't got that, but I think for those that have, the partner's the hardest one. Like you went mute. And I've done that with my wife, Louise, before. I've gone, I'm fine. Because I'm supposed to be the strong one in the family. I'm the one that kills the dinosaurs and looks after you.
Yeah.
And I think we do it with blokes. And it used to be, you know, I know it weren't a great culture to do, but it used to be the pub back in the day, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was always the pub where blokes got round, they had a beer and they offloaded. And now that kind of pub culture for the younger generation has died. They haven't got that really because the world's become quite insular, haven't they?
Yeah.
So do you get quite a few younger blokes?
With anything from 18 plus
to 80.
to I think as oldest blokes up in Scotland or Cumbria. I think it's Cumbria and he's 95.
Wow.
Oh, well, legend.
We have a guy that goes to Rotherham United group and he's 80, 84. He came after losing his wife for quite a lot of years, as you can imagine.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't even know how to put eating on, didn't even know how to
just
wash on, just do the day-to-day bits.
I think it'll be like my dad. My dad, but last about my mum.
That's an absolute godsend.
It has. And all he did was he went into hairdressers and they were like, I've lost my wife, I don't know what to do. And he were in a really, really, really dark place again. And she's just gone, here, pick a card up here. Go there. There's one down in Rotherham. She's come down and said, look, I were ready to take my own life and I've lost my wife after 30 odd years, 40 odd years, and so they've welcomed him in, made him a brew, and now he pays it forward. So guys come in, they'll go, hey, love you, all right, yeah, come and have a brew, come sit down.
Oh.
Yeah, so what advice could you give someone who's probably maybe watching or listening today, who's maybe nervous about going? Because, like you said, it can be quite daunting, can't it, to take a first step and actually go into an area, a room where you don't know anyone.
No,
you don't know what to face.
The hardest step, what we say is the hardest step is coming through the door for the first time. But like we said, you don't have to book, you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to get a referral from your GP or your counsellor or your therapist, because probably 9 times out of 10 they'll refer us to them anyway. Just make the step. Just come down to a group, 6:30, 7:15. It's just a big youth club. That's it. It's just a big youth club, and just have guys that are just coming to have a moan, and you know, like leave other half at home. Let her watch Emmerdale and let her watch Corrie and Married at First Sight or whatever, because my wife's watching it a minute. And
that's our guilty pleasure in the house, actually.
And it's, you know what I mean. And she has her time, and you know, with Theo goes to bed or whatever he does, and I go to a group, and as an advice, you know, words of advice, if you're thinking of going, just go, just break it.
It's like when you're thinking of the gym, ain't you, in New Year?
Yeah,
it's the hardest that you get the bag ready, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Or doing the run in this time of year, and
I can literally guarantee it will be the best move you ever make.
And I suppose the first one, Simon, they go there. They don't. I mean, you ask the questions, but they might go and say, "Look, I've just come for a look.
So do you
mind if I just sit here and watch?"
Yeah, absolutely. And
there's no pressure.
There's no pressure to talk. If you want to talk, we're there to listen.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, you just want to assess it, or just even say your name, you don't have to say your name.
Yeah.
Just say that, I'm here for the first time. You'll get a bit of a round of applause because you've come through the door for the first time, and everybody recognises that.
Because they've all been there.
Because they've all been there. Yeah. Some groups also clap on the second time that you've come through, because you might come for the first time and just think, well, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But then you think, I enjoyed that. That were like, I've just took 15 cans of Red Bull and I could fly home. So I'm going to go back next week. And then you sat here on Sunday evening thinking, right, I've got work. And then 5 o'clock, I'll go straight to AMC. And then I get to see everybody and we have a laugh and a joke, or, you know what I mean? And then it's something to look forward to, because, you know what I mean? I always say that, if you stood there ironing your uniform, you think, oh, I've got work tomorrow. You might have been, something might have happened at work where, it right frame of mind, or something's happened at home, and it's just, it's spiralling. But then you've also got something to look forward to.
That's interesting. The Monday night's quite key then, isn't it, in that?
Monday night.
Start of the week. But people, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that Monday night.
Yeah.
Most people could probably do a Monday night. It's not really
I think a lot of people go to the gym on a Monday night, don't they? It's the gym night,
exactly.
Isn't it? It's that kind of mentality. It's start of the week.
Yeah.
So, I hit it hard. Yeah. Get off to a good start, and if that's part of your routine, like you said about how you cope.
Absolutely.
How you process what you're going through in life. That's a good mechanism.
I can't believe there's a Mayo clubs over 300, and they're all up and down the country, I presume.
From as far as Aberdeen, to as low as Plymouth, and then left and right across country.
Everything in between.
Obviously, I look after South Yorkshire, North Derbyshire, and I'm opening number 24 in my area next month.
So you're a busy boy with them all.
Busy, absolutely busy, but
it's good busy.
I love it. I love it, and I won't be anywhere else. And I've got an amazing team up at Halifax, up at head office. They'll always have me back. They'll always support me. If I'm feeling down, they're always there. If I'm, I like to go up every so often and just to see them and give them hugs and get hugs, and you know what I mean. And it's not. It don't feel like a job. It just feels as if I've always.
You can see that.
I've always wanted to do it. Ever since 10, 11 years ago when I had my first mental breakdown, and you know what I mean, and it were always something passionate, and I'd followed AMC on social media for a year and just thinking, I don't need it, I don't need to go, I'm all right. I was kidding myself. And then it were something bad had happened. I was like, right, I'm going this week, I'm gonna go, and then think, oh, it'll be fine, I'll be right. I need to go. So I wanted to focus on my family. I weren't bothered about me. But now it's the other way around, where I take some more time out. I like to sit at home, and like if other half goes out on a Saturday night, we out with lasses or we work, I just sit in silence, or just play some chilling music and just peace, because it's all about us as well. We have to look after ourselves before you can look after us. If we're not right, nobody else is right.
Yeah. So that was part 1 of a podcast with Simon from Andy's Man Club, and there was such valuable stuff in there we decided to do a 2-parter. So look out for part 2.